Today's session is titled, Can Interfaith Diplomacy Redefine Global Peace and Cooperation? We are delighted to have you with us for this timely discussion, jointly hosted by the Anwar Gargash Diplomatic Academy and the Abrahamic Family House. It is no longer a new concept that diplomacy is evolving beyond traditional state-to-state engagement, with interfaith diplomacy and cooperation emerging as vital tools for building trust and promoting long-term stability. Today's discussion will explore how shared values, coexistence, and mutual understanding can contribute meaningfully to peace building and international cooperation. It is now my pleasure to formally open today's session with the keynote address, which will set the tone by reflecting on the strategic importance of interfaith engagement in modern diplomacy. It is an honor to welcome His Excellency, Dr. Ali Rashid al-Naimi, Chairman of the Defense, Interior, and Foreign Affairs Committee at the Federal National Council, to deliver his speech.
It's a pleasure to meet you and to engage with you in issues that of importance to all of us. Always when you talk about diplomacy, we think of the government diplomacy. And we don't see the added value that other sort of diplomacy that can bring to engaging different community, different country, different region, building bridges between these community, and playing a role in bringing solution. Faith leaders have a role to play to promote peace, to build the bridges, and they can engage with the local community in a way that no other leaders can do. This is where in the UAE, when we start investing in the interfaith diplomacy, we saw the added value. It's very important to understand that faith leaders can play a role, and they do play a role. And we need them to play a role that will add value in bringing us together regardless of our religion, to build the bridges of trust and respect and acceptance. This is what we are trying to do in the UAE. This is the message that we want everyone to take from the Abrahamic Family House, that we can live together. But we have to have a dialogue. We have to show everyone that we accept them as they are, and they can play a role in our local community to live in peace and to enjoy the lifestyle that we are seeing and to be respected as they are.
We will now move to our panel discussion, which will explore how interfaith diplomacy advances dialogue, cooperation, and shared understanding.
When Sheikh Zayed became ruler of the Emirates, he realized that most of the people working here as guests would not be Muslims. And Sheikh Zayed thought, I want the people that live with us to feel at home. I want them to feel welcomed. I want them to feel that they can express themselves and to be respected. And he created a kind of a template or a mandate for interfaith and religious inclusion that still underpins the interfaith movement in the UAE to this day. And the UAE is by far, I think, at the forefront of the interfaith movement at a state level. I'd love to put the first question to you, Dr. Ebtisam. What unique role can faith leaders play in conflict prevention or mediation that government actors cannot play?
Interfaith engagement, strength, conflict prevention. By widening the circle of credible actors. Faith leaders are often among the few figures who retain local legitimacy and social reach.
Dr. Mohammed, the UAE, as a leader of diplomats, has invested heavily in promoting tolerance and religious coexistence internationally. How has this shaped its diplomatic influence abroad?
Before going into answering that question, if I may I just want to shed a light on how important is AGDA's partnership with Abrahamic Family House. And Abrahamic Family House is a showcase of how important is coexistence and tolerance in United Arab Emirates. Just to put a strategic context to coexistence and tolerance before moving to the impact when it comes to diplomacy. Coexistence, tolerance is part of the social fabric in United Arab Emirates. It's a practical exercise. People can come, live in secure, open businesses, contribute. When you are really solid inside, you have a solid community, a solid sort of institutions, a solid governance, a coexistence model, you will be able to project that power successfully outside. Secondly, credibility is really important. And people, nations saw that UAE is a credible partner, having that credible model of coexistence and tolerance. Also, UAE projecting that model of coexistence and tolerance, being able to play a bigger role when it comes to mediation, conflict resolutions, being able to speak to literally every single nation.
Thank you, Dr. Mohammed. The UAE has forged ahead and created quite a kind of strength of movement and interfaith, including interfaith diplomacy. And I wonder what you think the most significant lesson from that has been.
One of the most important things when it comes to interfaith diplomacy, that you cannot use interfaith diplomacy as an instrument for political means. Secondly, interfaith engagement must remain steady and continuous and consistent.
Dr. Ebtisam, how should governments assess their success in faith-based peace or mediation efforts like this?
You need people accept the others, tolerate the others. Interfaith, I believe it's not about religion only. It's a mentality. And this is when we call it success of any state or country when it have a citizenship. What does it mean, citizenship? That everybody equal in front of law, regardless their race, their religion. UAE succeeded in that.
Can I add on that, if I may? One also of the measurements when it comes to our successful approach to interfaith diplomacy, coexistence, and tolerance is that other nations will always reach out in certain settings, calling us, telling us, can you come and mediate in certain situations when we have conflicts or differences? So this shows you in reality how we became a model of success, especially when it comes to coexistence.
Flowing on from that, actually, institutions like the Anwar Gargash Diplomatic Academy train diplomats to engage with religion now. How can they do so in a meaningful way that doesn't either trivialize religion or without instrumentalizing it?
One of the things that we do here at the Academy is what we are doing now, hosting different sort of events on interfaith diplomacy, Abrahamic dialogue, that our diplomats get a first-hand reaction from people who have an on-the-ground experience. Secondly, we always insist on them that you cannot be a reaction to anything. You should always analyze the situation. Also, we always expose them through the curriculum to interfaith diplomacy. It's part of the education from early ages up to universities and also to young diplomats going in near future to be our future ambassadors as well.
We now have questions from the audience.
With digitalization and social media becoming a very big part of our life, how does that affect interfaith engagement and diplomacy?
We cannot deny the huge impact of social media and digital platforms on our daily life and practices. What I would like to see when it comes to social platforms, more interfaith leaders, religious leaders engaging with the public, not only through the normal ways and means, but through the social media and platforms. This is one. I think there is a really positive side of social media that every single one can express their opinion in a way or another. So if we take that positive side in social media, we can really build resilient when it comes to coexistence, tolerance, successful stories like United Arab Emirates, and we can show the similarities between different religions.
The coexistence is instilled within us, the UAE. There was a question that late Sheikh Zayed was asked that 80% of your people are expats. And what do you say about that? And the answer to that, he was saying that the wealth is the wealth of God, the people are the people of God, and the land is the land of God. And whoever comes is most welcome with the grace of God. So this shows how coexistence is instilled within us, the Emiratis. So coming to my question now, what would you recommend as best practices that countries would implement on new generations to facilitate interfaith diplomacy and, of course, redefine global peace?
As a diplomat, you have to carry your country values.
We always incentivize our diplomats outside to dedicate some time to interact with the schools, universities, to speak about our model of coexistence and interfaith diplomacy. And this is not only a mandate of a diplomat, it should be a mandate of every single one sitting in this auditorium and beyond. We should speak about successful stories when it comes to coexistence, because the word of mouth is really strong. Social media is strong, but word of mouth is equally strong when it comes to spreading such practices.
As we begin to wind the session down, I'd like to thank both of our speakers for deep and insightful observations about the purpose and the value of coexistence and tolerance and interfaith. If you haven't been to the Abrahamic Family House, please go. It's not a tourist center, but it may be the first time you actually get to go into the religious building of someone else's religion. It's a tangible expression in this country of the desire to show equality and respect among people of different backgrounds, of different persuasions, different religions. And it's a very tangible sign of this country's commitment to a better world. So thank you to both institutions, thank you to our speakers, and hope to see you at the next event like this. Thank you so much.